Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the Rudiger Roll using wet materials. Now, a few people have wanted to see this done outdoors and preferably after it rained. Well, it pretty much rained all night here and most of the day. I actually went hiking today, but went and checked out my favorite spot, and sure enough everything was wet. I mean, here I am showing that the ground is just nothing but mud, and I had actually left these two cotton balls there prior to going on my hike. There's my ashes, and they're just basically dropping out of my hand, like dripping off of my hands. So everything should be pretty much wet and or damp. Obviously the ashes are soaking wet. The surfaces here, they're somewhat damp and wet. There's a lot of moisture everywhere. One of the things that I'm going to be doing here is I'm spreading out my ashes all over my hands, and I'm blowing on them, and I'm spreading them out. And what this will do is it increases the surface area. And if you do this and rub it and keep blowing, or maybe fan your hands, it could dry out quite a bit of the ashes. It's not going to be completely dry, and it's not completely dry where I'm at. The cotton balls, they're a little damp. They did draw some moisture in, but not anything inordinately. Here I'm basically electing to double this over and make sure it's a little bit thicker, because it could require that I roll a little longer. The humidity out right now in my area is right at or near 100%. So it's high humidity here. Here I am basically just getting some more ashes, trying to spread them out. Everything's still kind of wet. This, guys, has worked for me before, even with plant fibers, trying to get the Rudiger Roll to work outdoors if everything was wet. You know, eventually you can get these pretty dry on your hands, or dry-ish. Here I am rolling it up, and I got a little bit of dry right there, so I'm going to take advantage of that, or dry-ish. But anyway, here I am rolling it up, and I'm going to roll for a few seconds here. And the surface of my wood there is wet, obviously, somewhat. I'm going to roll here for a few moments, see if I've got friction and traction, rather. Get it into a groove, and I'm going to check it for heat. You don't need to be in any rush if you're not using ideal materials, because this really won't work well if you just rush everything. You need to take your time. Yeah, I'm checking it here. It feels somewhat warm. I saw a little bit of vapor rising off of it. So I'll go ahead and give it a go right here. Okay. Tried to start smoking. And I'm just going to lay into it right here. Guys, this is doable, but I'm going to be honest with you right now. There are far better ways of starting fires in these kind of conditions. If I were you, I'd get a really good Bic lighter, several of them, 2 or 3, 4, 5, I don't know. Put them in your packs in different places. You know, keep them dry. Put them in plastic bags. Here I am feeding the ember oxygen. Although I do get an ember here, guys, this is just one part of it. You know, selecting a good tinder bundle. That is another big part of it. You know, it's very difficult sometimes to get materials to ignite under these conditions, but it can be done. And the Rudiger Roll, this proves that you can use it outdoors. But I highly recommend getting some Bic lighters, waterproof matches in a container, and possibly even a really good fire still, and maybe some of those fuel tabs. although this looks like, oh yeah, I can do this, you still need to kind of practice this in this conditions, guys. You know, that little tip about spreading the ashes out, it will work. Well, anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video out, and you guys have a good evening, and I hope that the few tips that I showed you here help. Good night.